What up, maniacs? Shakiel Mahjouri here, and you know who this is. He's lean, he's mean, and I hope by the end of this interview I can get him to crack a smile. Hakeem Dawodu, how are you?
What up, man? How you doing? Thank you for having
Doing.
me on the show.
Hey, man, thrilled to have you. It's nice to catch up here. Now, I just alluded to it in the intro before we get to the breadth of the conversation. You know, you got mean tatted on your chest. You've told me in the past you've got a bit of a resting bitch face. It is what it is, man. A lot of us do, myself included. But Hakeem, what are three things that make you smile?
Uh, you know, um, Sparring, uh,
Appropriate?
some good cultured food, and just socializing with my friends and whatnot. And I'll add a fourth one, getting a new fight contract and moving my way up to the top 10.
Love it. So where are we at with the fight contract? Did you get a new one for this fight, or are you on the end of your last one?
No, this is my first fight on this contract. So this is my third contract with the UFC. So yeah, this would be my first fight on the new contract.
Congratulations. And if you know the exchange rate is working out in your favor right now up here in the north.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely working out for me.
So let's talk about the fight a little bit. You're taking on Movsar Evloev. Sorry if I butchered your name, bro. On June 12th at UFC 263. When I look at your trajectory thus far, like this is a guy who, in some ways, in terms of his UFC career, kind of matches yours, working his way up. Both coming off these split decision wins, both sort of earmarked as potential stars of the future. How do you feel about your rate of progression up the featherweight ladder? Is it moving fast enough for you?
No, I feel like it's moving kind of slow. Yeah, I just didn't really get the recognition and maybe enough eyes on me as I thought I would be. I thought it'd be a bit higher up, but things happen. Maybe I have to start talking trash a little bit more. Get my name out there. That kind of seems to be the theme, the trash talking. But yeah, it's moving a little bit slow. But I definitely feel after this fight, after I get a win over this guy, they can't deny me a top 10, and my career can start excelling to where I want it to be.
Well, maybe just keep the trash talk outside of the fight because you did get that warning in that Julio Arce fight from the ref, right?
No, that was when I fought Zubara,
Yes, Subar.
which I think it was because of where the fight was taking place. I feel like obviously, like if that was in the States, that wouldn't have happened because
No.
you see guys talking trash all the time. So I think that was just a scenario of where I was fighting.
And if I may, to the progression up the ladder thing, perhaps it's slower than you would like, but I think by the time you do reach that point of we're talking ranked fighters, and you were matched up at one point with Shane Burgos, correct?
Mhm.
Um, I think you're going to be more than prepared. Like slow and steady is not always the worst thing, right?
Exactly, you know what I mean, and that's what I'm saying. I'm taking out all these killers that everyone's avoiding. So I feel like by the time that I when I get to the top, there's no adversity that I won't be able to handle because I've been taking out, these undefeated prospects and Chechnyan wrestlers that no one else wants to fight, and I'm the only one doing it. So yeah, it's slower than I'd like, but at the same time, you can't deny my skill once I start putting all these guys away. And once I get to the top, there's going to be nobody that is going to be able to stop me.
Years ago, you and I talked on a podcast I did with Cajun Johnson, and at the time, you had mentioned how your shoulder injuries were kind of making it hard for you to go for those fight finishing sequences
Yeah.
that obviously you and your fans have a huge appetite for. I
Yeah.
know you pulled out of the Shane Burgos fight because of another shoulder injury. At this stage, is it something you have to kind of keep in mind when you're training? Like, does it kind of, I guess, creep into your psyche a bit that, man, my shoulders, this has happened a few times now?
Yeah, I think what it is just me being a fighter. I would just always ignore everything. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I think just being a fighter that you just kind of used to be in pain. So when I was training with my shoulders torn, I didn't even know they were torn. I just thought it was just aches and pains from just wear and tear. So, as you get a bit older now and smarter, I've learned to address those injuries before, they become, fight canceling injuries. So I think it's just being aware and not just trying to be too tough for your own good and walk through these injuries. That's always kind of been my problem, just always trying to come right through these injuries and they end up getting a little bit worse. So luckily, I got a really good physio, and I'm working with the UFC PI after this fight, and I'm feeling healthy, and it's just I think it's one of those things: train smarter, not harder.
Health is wealth, man. I got into my girlfriend's benefits a few months ago. She's a nurse, and it's like every week physio, massage therapy, physio, massage therapy. I'm cashing in on it.
No, that's the way to go, definitely.
Can we? I was reading a feature that the Undefeated did on you last year. Do you mind if we talk very briefly on, like police violence against Black people and racism?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, just I'll link the Undefeated article because it's very extensive, and you spoke very candidly on it. There's one thing that you mentioned though that kind of piqued my curiosity. I'm up here in Vancouver, you're in Calgary, we're not too far apart, and I find a lot of Canadians like to sort of clown the U.S. They like to look out there and be like, "Oh man, look at all this overt racism and overt violence," but we're not absent of that same guilt ourselves, right? Can you what would you tell your fellow Canadians who maybe don't internalize as much and always sort of look at the U.S. and say we don't have that sort of systematic racism up north?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things, it's one of those things. If you never experienced it, it's very easy to, to turn your eye and be like, "Oh, we don't do that up here." But we definitely, you see a lot of racism against the Black community, and the Native community,
Yeah.
and actually all ethnic communities. You know what I mean? Especially with I saw a lot of racism towards Middle Eastern people, obviously, as well, when all that conflict was going down. I just think Canadians are a bit more maybe discreet about it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's the type of racism. It may not be right up front and personal, as in the States. They seem to be a bit more upfront at it, but it's definitely very prevalent here in Canada. And it's one of those things that it may not be as bad as the States, but it's still very here. And I could sit here and talk for hours of all the stuff that I've been through. But I think it just, as a Black man, it's just one of those things that's sad. You're just kind of accustomed to it.
Do you have any advice for non-Black people who want to be better allies and support their Black friends and communities? What should they do?
I would just say, just keep staying woke, pay attention to the news, always help out a friend if you see something going on that you think's a little bit funny. It's no problem to step in, or even just start recording, and make sure everyone's getting treated fairly. You know what I mean?
I read that one of your coaches said in that piece that you'd like to build a drug rehab facility in Calgary at some point. Why is that an important goal for you?
Just kind of the way I grew up. I used to be a little bit addicted to drugs coming up when I was young, going through what I was going through. And I've just seen a lot of my friends go down that road, addicted to drugs. And especially now with this whole fentanyl dilemma going on, I've lost 8 friends.
Wow.
And just recently, actually, this training camp last month, I lost one of my best friends. I just got him, tattooed on me. My friend Riley Walls just overdosed from fentanyl, and that was, a kid that I've known since grade 3. And his mom took me in when I was 14, when I had no place to go. So we used to live together, and him dying last month over the overdose, it was really close to home. And I'm just, it's very sad, and it's obviously a very big dilemma that we're facing with, because I've lost way too many friends over this drug. So it's definitely something I'd like to try and do my best to help out anyone struggling with addiction.
Well, my condolences, Hakeem, and thank you for sharing. I did see the Instagram post. We'll make sure to embed that too in the story. And when you sort of look up and down the division, Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez is announced. You got Ortega Volkanovski. What are some of your favorite stylistic matchups for yourself there?
Yeah, favorite stylistically fights. That Rodriguez guy, I'd love to fight him. Max Holloway, I'd love to fight him. And Alex Volkanovski, I think I match up very well against him. And yeah, these are all fights that I'm looking forward. You know what I mean? These are all very exciting fights. Stylistically, I think it suits me very well. So I'm hoping, get 2 more wins, and I can, call out those big names and get those fights that I want.
Without giving away too much of the game plan, what is it about Alexander the Great that makes you feel like you're a good matchup for him?
I think I just when I watched the fight with Max Holloway, the only thing I really saw that he was able to land was leg kicks. Really,
Mm.
you know what I mean? I didn't really see the best boxing or anything like that, and I definitely think I'll be able to outbox him, outpace him. I'm bigger than him. I got more reach, and me being a former world Muay Thai champion, his leg kicks would be very very easy to deal with.
Mm.
I just think stylistically, it's just a very good matchup for me. Just after watching the two Max Holloway fights, I just don't think he has much for me.
Last thing here, are you a hip hop fan?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your top five best hip hop artists right now. So I'm not talking goats
Mhm.
unless they've been able to maintain it until June 1st, 2021.
Okay, so right now I got Conway the Machine,
Mm.
and then I got Benny the Butcher, and then West Side Gun. I've been really a big fan of.
Shout out to Griselda.
Yeah, yeah, they've been actually keeping in touch with me. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah, we just talk on the gram. Um, I'm a big fan of Dave East as
Mm.
well. I think Dave East is real slick. And I know he's passed, but I just listened to the DMX album that just dropped yesterday, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very good, very very well done. Uh, Sounds like an instant classic. Of course, being from Canada, you got Drake as well, so he's obviously running the game right now, so you can't really deny that.
Yeah, and I know posthumous albums can be super hard because some stuff that's recorded like demos and stuff, so they pull that together really nicely. I'll give you mine while we're here.
Yeah,
I was talking to Anthony Walker of MMA on Point, and we were talking about how there's this old man rap that's really starting to elevate itself. So Royce the 5'9", gotta give a
yeah,
huge shout out to.
Royce, yeah.
Yeah, Black Thought, and I'll go with the obvious. J. Cole, Kendrick, and
And
I'm a big Run the Jewels fan. I think RTJ4 was an incredible album. So
yeah,
if you haven't heard Father Figure, it's Tobe and Wigway with Black Thought and Royce the 5'9". I'll shoot you a text.
yeah,
Check it
shoot
out,
me a
man.
text.
What Royce the 5'9" does in that song is like the most fascinating composition of lyrics I've ever heard. It's just
Royce has always been a monster when it comes to lyrics, so it's so hard to leave him out. There's so many, you know what I mean.
100%.
I was
Five is a small number to pick
Yeah,
from.
I was trying to keep it very current and new, you know what I mean. But yeah, if you wanted
Yeah,
to
I
bring
kind of
it back
cheated. I know.
if you wanted to bring it back, yeah, definitely you could. Royce is obviously a monster as well.
Hey, well, I think I saw a couple little flashes of smiles, so we'll have to keep the hip hop talk going next time, my
Mhm.
man.
Definitely.
100%. Hakeem Dawodu, you fight Movsar Evloev at UFC 263 on June 12th. Best of luck. I'm not biased, but as a fellow Canadian, bring
Mhm.
one home for the North, my man.
Yeah, definitely. And just here to put Canada back on the map and make our MMA scene great.